Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. In this channel, we investigate the what, why, and how of ancient Chinese culture, which including the ancient Wing Chun Crane. So today we want to continue into the explore of the ancient 1850s Wing Chun. Today, I'd like to share with you something extremely important. So, we all know that in the legend, Wing Chun is an art of narrow stance, short bridge, which means the arm is close to the body, and also you stick with the opponent. That's why it's named as sticking body short strike. And today, we can find all the evidence how the Wing Chun 1850 can track to the Shao Lin Short Strike Classic. And with the Shao Lin Short Strike Classic, we know what is the 1850s Wing Chun writing is talking about. Because for studying ancient Chinese culture, one always need to use the preceding, the older classic to explain the newer classic. That's how the ancient Chinese culture works. People don't define it anymore. People use the older definitions. So it is not up for any type of interpretations. It is based on certain clear details, descriptions. And because we have the 1850s writing, we have the Shao Lin Short Strike Classic, we have the General Taijichuan Classic, we can actually know exactly what is going on. Now, one of the characteristics of the short strike from Shao Lin is that one needs to continue to move. At every strike, the angle, the level, and the range has to change. That is the characteristic of Shao Lin short strike. That's why the stance is narrow. Why it is narrow? So one be able to move all the time, not stopping at all. Whereas if you have a big stance like this, or big stance like this, it is not that easy to move. Disregard what people think or train, because this is human body. So the design of the short strike art since the Ming Dynasty, General Taijichuan time, going down to the Shao Lin short strike time, you need to move. You need to move. At every strike, it needs to move. It needs to have a variations of range, angle, and level, or else one will become the target of the opponent. Now, in the past 60 years or so, many people start to importing, such as the Fujian of the northern so-called internal art. And then the term of the qi or the mind power or the structure, all sort of stuff. Well, 60 years later today, we have all kinds of internal power using yi, not using qi, Jing, and all sort of stuff, terminology. And we know those terminology is not from the southern China, but it is a northern type of terminology. Now, with all this introducing into Wing Chun today, after 60 years, you see people go this far a range. You see people try to use push hand power. You see people talking about using the mind power, the structural power, and so forth. The problem is, it takes an opposite directions. Remember the ancient Kip San Tuin Da, sticking body short strike, meaning I need to stick close to him, I need to keep moving at every strike, and I need to keep changing my angle, my distance, or range, and my level, or else I will be a prey for other people or the opponent. And that is not addressed in the past 60 years. Again, if I'm a short strike guy, I stand this close. When I can strike him, this is a range he can take me, he can give me a body shot. If I'm not continually moving, I will have to take the body shot or take the grappling. So the characteristic of short strike is narrow stance, short bridge, closing to the body, and keeping moving. So once one keeping moving, there is no structure. It is a dynamic momentum handling. Even we trace into the Shaolin short strike, that is what it writes, black and white. That's why in my book, Wing Chun, Resurrecting Wing Chun, you will see that. I translate that for you to see. Now, when you keep moving, there are two weapons which is in the past 60 years extremely rare people talk about. Of course, we know that when we're moving, we can kick, we can kick, we can kick. There is kick, low kick, sweep, trap, trick. However, in the moving, there is the knee, shoot in from the front, shoot in from the back. And there is the tie shot, you shoot in, collide in, under other people's crotch area. So there are two weapons there to manage the opponent's low part of body. Namely, manage this crotch area and manage his knee. But for past 60 years, you didn't see those kind of things. The reason why I mentioned past 60 years is because I'm only 60 years old. I won't say that it is past 120 years. But if you look into technically, you see in past 120 years, the techniques of this, and this, it is not there. Because that techniques have to come with all the stuff where it get in. Now, also, you look at that. The wooden dummy cannot do the job for this type of training or to get proficient with this. Why? First is this level. See this level? The second is this level. With a wooden dummy today, with the hands stick out like that, one practically will not be able to walk in to use the Thai weapons, not be able to use this because the entire thing stick out holding the frame there. And the art is supposed to, from this, instead of, has to be like that. Jam in from an angle. Same thing. Not this, but jam in from the angle instead of getting hit by this with a straight line. Because short strike is an art, never collide with the opponent. If you guys have the basic Wing Chun Queen book which I wrote, you can see that the angle coming is from this side, not from this side, not from this side, but from this side. I let him swing, but I'm already in. So, this lower part of the body, one weapon, two weapons. When we lost that two weapons, you know this is empty. When the body losing the flexibility for talking to structure, standing there as a structure, you know you're losing the short strike art characteristics. So under the belt, today's Wing Chun, we no longer have that technology. Putting in, adding in all those Taiji, Fajing, mind power, standing there, be able to take force, it doesn't help. It doesn't solve the issue. It doesn't even address what is Wing Chun is about. As the Shao Lin short strike recorded, one always has to move, changing the angle, the range, the level, or else one becomes the target. Standing there with the structure, with all kind of power, trying to handle whatever force comes. That actually open up for the vulnerability because it cannot change in range, it cannot change in angle and level, which the short strike art since Taijichuan time need to do, or else it becomes a target. So this is to share with you, Wing Chun need to bring back the knee and the Thai weapon. When you get close, you have two more hands here. Of course with this. And with the body, you have the torque. All of these are tools. Only with these tools, one be able to be proficient in close range fighting. And what it is called the plum flower steps is actually a keeping moving, keeping striking with the lower part of body and upper part of body in sync, simultaneously type of footwork. Those type of footwork is not like what people taught today. This step, this step, this step. No. It is the footwork of how to manage this. See my hand move, my leg move, my knee move, my thigh move, all those stuff. And when, say, facing this, it's not this way, but it's angling in there, going the other side, or facing him, even though this can be a kick, it is going in. That is the lower part of the short strike art, the common denominator. And the common denominator, if Wing Chun is a short strike art, has to have. So this is to share with you the handling of the lower part of the body, like this handling of the thigh area, the handling of the knee, and the steps. In Shaolin short strike, there's a term for it. It's called managing your opponent's leg. And to be proficient with managing the opponent's momentum, managing the opponent's lower part of the body or legs is the most important. Or else one don't have an art to do the job, according to the Shaolin short strike or the ancient short strike art. So this is what we know today. So all the 60 years of Qi, Fa Jing, using the term from the northern martial art, Chinese martial art, or internal art, doesn't help. In fact, it has become misleading. And with all this walking, moving, changing the range, angle, and the level with a torquing type of momentum, there's external. Internal, you need to have the breathing and the Qi channel handling, so that one be able to be smooth, have the engine to support it. And that's what I put it in my book Wing Chun Matrix on the breathing, and the Wing Chun Inceptions on the synchronizations. So the entire engine, inside, internal, you need to have that breathing, the synchronizations. Externally, you need to have that movement, the momentum handling, which have the range, angle, level, and which have full of tools, leg, knee, thigh on the bottom. Without that, that is not a short strike art by the definitions of the ancient Chinese, by the definitions of Shaolin short strike classic and 1850s Wing Chun. So this is the reality. We like it or not, we today have to face this. If we want Wing Chun to be great again, unless this form back, one cannot using this push hand and sun punch, call it Wing Chun, or Tan Sao doing Wing Chun. One cannot using a boxing footwork and call it Wing Chun, because those are not sticking body short strike art anymore. So this is to share with you today.